everyone, welcome to the second session of downstream processing. In the previous session, we have discussed different methods of cell disruption for intracellular products. Now in this session, we'll begin with the solid-liquid separation, which is the second step for the separation of intracellular products and the first step for your extracellular products. In this presentation, we'll be discussing filtration in detail. We will be learning about the principle of filtration, rate of filtration, filter medium, filter rates, and different industrial filtration equipment, which includes different filters which are used at industrial level for the separation purpose. Now, after the cells have been disrupted in case of intracellular product recovery, the next step will be solid-liquid separation. In case of extracellular products, since the products are outside of the cell, here also will be requiring the need of solid-liquid separation where the solid cells are separated from the liquid broth. So the first step in extracellular product recovery is the separation of whole cells or cell biomass and other insoluble ingredients from the culture broth. As stated earlier also, if the desired product is an intracellular metabolite, it must be released from the cells using cell disruption methods before subjecting to solid-liquid separation. Solid-liquid separation can be achieved by the following methods: filtration, centrifugation, sedimentation, and flocculation. Now we'll be discussing all the four types one by one. First is filtration. Filtration is the removal of solid particles from a fluid by passing the fluid through a filtering media on which solids are deposited. In the laboratory, suspension is poured into a conical funnel with a fitted filter paper, as you can see in the diagram. In industries, difficulties are encountered in the mechanical handling of much larger quantities of suspension and solids. As a result, thicker layer of solids is formed during filtration. Thus, high pressures are needed in order to achieve a high rate of passage of liquid through solids. The next slide shows the principle of filtration. Slurry is the suspension which is to be filtered. Since the filter medium is permeable only to the fluid, it retains the solid particles of the slurry and permits only the fluid to pass through, which is collected as filtrate or clear liquid. As the filtration proceeds, solid particles accumulate on the filter medium, forming a packed bed of solids called filter cake. The volume collected per unit time is termed as rate of filtration. The most important factors on which rate of filtration depends are the pressure drop across the filter medium, the area of the filtering surface, the viscosity of the filtrate, the resistance of the filter cake that is being deposited, the resistance of the filter medium, and initial layers of cake. As the thickness of the cake increases, resistance of flow of filtrate also increases and the rate of filtration gradually decreases. Now if the rate is maintained to be constant, then pressure has to be increased. Therefore, a batch filter is operated either at constant pressure or at a constant rate, as you can see in the graph. In area A, increase in pressure keeps the flow rate constant, and in area B, constant pressure decreases the flow rate. Filter medium. Filter medium is that portion of a filtration system that provides the liquid-solid separation. It's a natural or synthetic material or a manufactured article used for filtration. Filter media have a porous structure, that is, structure permeable to liquids and gases. It is made up of closed woven textiles or metal screens, papers, non-woven fabrics, granular beds, or porous media. The filter media used in industry and in laboratory practice should have the following properties. It should be capable of retaining solids that are to be filtered. It should give a reasonably clear filtrate. It should not get plugged or blind. It should be chemically and physically resistant to process conditions. It should permit cake to be discharged cleanly and completely. It should not be too expensive. Filter aids are solid inert materials which are used to improve efficiency of filter medium by preventing its blockage and form porous cake so as to get uninterrupted flow of filtrate. Now let us see what are the objectives of filter aids. It need to form a layer for protection of primary filter medium. Its presence should improve the flow rate. Filter aids should increase the cake permeability and decrease the cake compressibility so that the cake becomes more porous, and filtration should not be slowed down. Now let's focus on the key properties of the filter aids. It should be inert and free from impurities. It means that the filter aid should not be reactive to any of the components of the slurry. Also, it should remain suspended in the liquid and should have low specific gravity. Otherwise, it settles to form non-compressible cake over the filter medium, which will further reduce the rate of filtration. Filter aids should form porous cake. It should be recoverable and insoluble in filtrate. It should consist of rigid, complex-shaped and discrete particles so that it forms a porous layer. There are certain disadvantages associated with the use of filter aids. These includes that it may remove colored substances by absorption, it may become source of contaminants, the liquid absorbed will be lost or it will be difficult to recover later, and it also adds to the filtration cost. Further, we discussed two different methods in which filter aids can be used. First is by using it as a pre-coat. Filter aid is coated over the filter media so that solid particles in the liquid will not come in direct contact of the filter media, thus avoiding its blockage. For this kind of coating, we can use diatomite. Second method is to use it as a body feed. That is, it is added into the slurry in 1 to 2% of concentration. This keeps the filter cake porous enough and keeps the rate of filtration high enough. Examples for this are diatomite or kiselgur, perlite or volcanic rock glass, cellulose, charcoal, chalk, talc, magnesium carbonate. Now we'll discuss the industrial filtration equipments, that is the filters that are used at industrial level. Filters can be classified based on the direction of flow of slurry. First type is the static flow or dead end filtration, which is also known as surface filtration. Here, the slurry flows perpendicular to the filtration membrane, as you can see in the diagram. It can be further divided into batch pressure filters and continuous pressure filters. Batch pressure filters include plate and frame filters and pressure leaf filters, which are further subdivided as Sweetland filter and Metafilter or edge filter. Continuous pressure filters includes rotary drum filters. The second category on which filters are classified is the cross-flow filtration. As you can see in the diagram, here the slurry flows tangential to the membrane surface. That is, the feed that is entering is traveling parallel to the membrane filter. Retentate is the term used for that part of the feed that does not pass through the membrane, whereas the permeate is that part of the feed that does pass through the membrane. And here by feed we mean slurry. Now let us discuss all these types of filters one by one in detail. The first part includes the batch filters. The first type of batch filter is plate and frame filter press. The filter press consists of two types of units which are made of aluminium alloy, cast iron, bronze, stainless steel, hard rubber or plastic like polypropylene and wood. The first part is called the frame. Here the slurry enters the frame first. It has an open hollow space inside wherein the slurry reservoir is maintained for filtration. Frames of different thickness are available. It provides space for filter cake, as you can see in the first diagram. Handles are also provided on both the sides to place the frame on the rods. Second part of the filter press includes the plate with filter media. As you can see in the diagram, the plate has a grooved surface to support the filter cloth or medium and an outlet for the filtrate. The filter medium is interposed between the plate and frame. All the three components are clamped to a supporting structure or rod in the following sequence. First, we place the plate, then filter medium and then frame, then again filter medium and then plate. By this alternative arrangement of frame and filter, the chamber forms in which the cake will be deposited. A number of plates and frames are employed so that the filtration area is as large as necessary. Now let us see the principle of plate and frame filter press. Here the filter press is used for slurries containing less about 5% of solids. Kindly pay attention to the diagram which shows a complete assembly of the plate and frame filter press. The plate and frames are arranged in the same sequence as we have discussed earlier. Here, the slurry to be filtered is pumped through the channel or feed inlet in the frame. As the frame gets filled up with the slurry, it flows with pressure through the filter medium grooved onto the plate. The filtrate gets collected in the plate which is sent through the outlet present at the bottom. After some time, chamber gets jammed due to deposition of the cake. To remove the cake, the press is dismantled and the cake is removed from each chamber. Wash liquid is then introduced into the press and then air is blown to remove the residual liquid from it. Just to give you a clear view of how the arrangement is of this filter press, the plate, filter medium and frame are shown with some gap. But when it is actually assembled, all these three parts are in close contact with each other. Now let us see the second type of batch filter, that is pressure leaf filter. Let's see the diagram first to understand the parts of this filter. The leaf filter consists of a frame enclosing a longitudinal drainage screen or grooved plate. The frame may be of any shape, circular, square or rectangular. The whole unit is being covered with a filter cloth. The outlet of the filtrate connects to the inside of the frame through suction. Vacuum or pressure can be applied to increase the rate of filtration. Coming to its working principle, the mechanism is surface filtration and this leaf filter acts as a sieve or strainer. To start with the filtration process, the leaf filter is first immersed in the slurry. When vacuum or pressure is applied to the vacuum system which is connected to the outlet, the slurry passes through the filter cloth. Finally, after filtration, the filtrate enters the drainage canal and goes through the outlet into the receiver where the filtrate is collected. And after the filtration is done, the filter is removed from the slurry and air is passed to flow in reverse direction which facilitates removal of cake. After the cake layer is removed, the filter is again ready to be reused. There are two variants of leaf filter. First is Sweetland filter and the second one is Meta filter or edge filter. Let's see what is Sweetland filter. This filter has been designed with such a system that we do not have to stop the filtration process as the cake deposits on the filter. With this kind of setup, the cake is being removed parallelly without any stoppage. In this, there are a number of filter leaves which are enclosed in a special vessel into which the slurry is pumped under pressure. This type of filter permits the cake to be discharged by compressed air without removing the filter leaves from the vessel. A number of leaves are connected to a common outlet to provide a large area of filtration. Now let us see what are metafilters or edge filters. Metafilters consist of a series of metal rings which are threaded on a grooved rod so that a channel is formed on the edges, as you can see in the diagram. These rings are usually made up of stainless steel and have dimensions of about 15 mm internal diameter, 22 mm external diameter and 0.8 mm in thickness, with a number of semicircular projections on one side of the surface. When these rings are packed on the rod, the opening between the ring is about 0.2 mm. These rings are tightened on the drainage column with a lock nut or end cap. Now, to understand the working principle of metafilters, let's follow the following diagram that has been specially made by me for a better understanding. Filters are first placed in a vessel containing the liquid to be filtered. Now, when the vacuum is applied, liquid will flow from the outside to the inside of the filter. The channels on the metal ring, which are acting as strainers, offers resistance to the flow of solids or coarse particles. The clear liquid is raised and collect into the receiver or inside. The first diagram shows the top view of the filter and the second diagram shows the side view of the same filter. Now this type of setup is enough for the separation of solids or coarse particle. Now if we want to separate fine particles, a bed of suitable material such as Kieselguhr is used. In this way, the pack of rings serves essentially as a base on which the true filter medium is supported. Therefore, metafilters can be used for clarification of syrups, injection solutions and insulin liquors. After batch filters, now let us discuss continuous filters. The example for a continuous filter is a rotary vacuum drum filter. The drum is dipped into the slurry and vacuum is applied, which is connected to the filtrate receiver or central duct, as you can see in the diagram. When the cake has formed, the cake is drained or partially dried by vacuum. The drum is sprayed with water to wash the cake. Retaining the vacuum connection drains the cake again and produces partial dryness. This cake is now removed by a doctor knife. When the solids of the slurry are too much that the filter cloth becomes blocked with the particles, a pre-coat filter may be used. A pre-coat of filter aid is deposited on the drum prior to the filtration process. The rotary filter is beneficial for continuous operation on large quantities of slurries. It is suitable for slurry containing considerable amount of solids in the range of 15 to 30%. Now we have different types of drum filter depending on the mechanism of cake discharge from the drum. The first type is string discharge. This type of filter is suitable for removal of fibrous filter cake of fungal mycelia. Long strings are threaded over the drum and around two rollers, as you can see in the diagram. The cake is lifted free from the upper part of the drum when the vacuum pressure is released and carried to the small rollers where it falls free. A comb is also provided for the better removal of the cake from the drum. Second type is based on the scraper discharge. This type of filter setup is suitable for removal of yeast cells. The filter cake which builds on the drum is removed by an accurately positioned knife blade, as you can see in the diagram. Because the knife is close to the drum, there may be gradual wearing or tearing of the filter cloth on the medium. So we have to keep a regular check that the filter medium is maintained. The third type is based on scraper discharge with pre-coating on the drum. The filter cloth on the drum can get blocked by bacterial cells or fungal mycelia. This problem is overcome by pre-coating the drum with a layer of filter aid 2 to 10 cm thick. The filter cake which builds on the drum is removed by an accurately positioned knife blade. So this type is basically a modification of scraper discharge filter with the application of a filter aid. So all the filters discussed so far were the static flow or dead end filtration or the surface filtration, in which the slurry was flowing perpendicular to the filtration membrane. Now let us see the second type, that is cross flow filtration, in which the slurry flows tangential to membrane surface. As already told, this filter works by introducing slurry feed under pressure tangentially across the membrane surface instead of directly onto the filter. During filtration, any material smaller than the cross-flow membrane pore passes through the membrane, while larger suspended particulates remain in the retentate stream. Benefits of using cross-flow filtration is that there is an efficient separation of more than 99.9% cell retention. Further, it is a closed system, so it offers the containment of organism with no aerosol formation. Separation is independent of cell and media densities in contrast to centrifugation. So with this we end up with the first method of solid-liquid separation. In the next session we'll be discussing about the rest of the methods of solid-liquid separation, that includes centrifugation, sedimentation and flocculation. Thank you.